When spring whispers its arrival, it stirs life into our gardens, and it definitely awakens a desire in us to get outside and do some spring cleaning. I get it. I mean, it's a time of growth and beauty and renewal, and some of us, we've been sitting inside through dark, cold winters. But as we reach for our garden tools ready for cleanup, let's pause and rethink our approach, just like I encourage you to do in our new fall garden cleanup video. This spring, I invite you to join me in a garden cleanup that nurtures not just our gardens, but the whole ecosystem they support. Don't get too anxious, or the efforts we took in the fall to change the way we think won't come to fruition. We're going to focus on 5 top points for the new spring cleanup. Start with a gentle touch. Leaving some of the leaves in place offers shelter to overwintering pollinators, awaiting their time to awaken. Most of our 4,000 native bee species are actually ground dwellers. Lightning bugs overwinter in the larval stage in this material. Beetles, toads, salamanders, and more actually call this home. And keep in mind, they need this material for survival long into spring. That definitely is more important than our aesthetic need just to clean everything up or follow old school gardening practices, or the mindset is, we just have always done it this way. Let's think differently. Just inspect the leaf litter and underbrush for signs of life before disturbing these areas. Leave sections untouched, or just gently relocate insects and debris to safe areas if you feel you must clean. Just be aware that there is life in that brown debris. Resist the urge to clean up too early. Waiting until temperatures are consistently warm, around 50 degrees for several days, is a common belief circulated primarily on social media. But it is not a good practice. These species care far less about air temps than they do soil temps, and it takes the soil a lot longer to be consistently above 50 degrees. Plus, if you live somewhere like I do in Ohio, you get a couple days in the 50s, those turn into a couple days in the 70s, and then bam, it's a week of 30s. I understand the desire to get out into your gardens, but instead use this time to observe and plan versus rake and blow. You can use this observation time to identify and eliminate invasive plants, which will actually be more beneficial than cleaning up. In short, there's just no reason to clean everything up. Let it stay for those that are still in slumber. Those native flower stems we left all fall and winter are more than just spent blooms now. They're vital habitat. By leaving them standing, you provide a haven for next year's pollinators. You can just leave them. That's what nature does. Or you can cut them, but please don't cut them to the ground. Here's a better method. Leave 12 to 18 inches, and those stems can provide habitat for stem nesting bees. Those stems can also help support your new growth, and in some cases, they definitely help protect the new growth that's coming up from browsing deer, as the stems themselves act as little spikes to curious deer muzzles. I do have a couple gardens next to a walkway that leads up to my pool. This gets heavy foot traffic all summer, so these gardens I do clean up a little bit more, but I'm gentle with the leaves and stems. I just gently take the cut stems with the seed heads on them and the leaves, and I place them back on my debris pile. Or I do have an area that I've started in the back corner where I have started placing all cut flower stems. The rabbits hide in there, birds frequent it to eat the seeds, plus it just gently breaks down while providing wildlife value. Mulch is a fantastic resource. However, a heavy layer of mulch can smother the very life you're trying to encourage. If you feel like you have to mulch, do so mindfully. A light layer around plants can help without smothering overwintering wildlife. If you've planted your native plant garden using the matrix planting method, you've created a tightly planted garden that prevents the need to mulch yearly while also suppressing weeds naturally. It's one of the many reasons we recommend densely planting native plants. Mulching around native trees and shrubs can be beneficial, but the larger the area, the better. You can learn more about soft landings, which is what we recommend, on my website. And please, no volcano mulching around your trees. Now, I do have a mulching recommendation. If you want to provide a cue to care, which is really a method to show that what you're doing is purposeful, one of the ideas is you can take a foot on the edge of your garden, move those leaves to the middle, cut the stems, and just mulch that foot all around the garden. And that way, it looks purposeful while maintaining the ecological value all through the rest of the garden. Ideally, you would just use mulch one time. You would apply a thin layer to create your garden area, then you would just plant your plugs, your plants densely and directly into the mulch. In just a few years, your native plants will create a tightly planted garden and prevent the need for yearly mulching. A perfectly tidy garden is a quiet one. Just embrace a bit of untidiness. It's a sign your garden is brimming with life, and it's how we educate and encourage others to rethink spring garden cleanup. Nature is not somewhere else. It's where we create it and where we allow it. And you can do just that by not having a sterile yard and garden. This spring, let's create sanctuaries, not just gardens. Sanctuaries that host life, big and small. You know, if we go about this new spring garden cleanup method this way, we can cultivate a world that's ecologically valuable for every creature. In fact, let's let our native plants do what they've always done for eons. I'm Patrick. Let's stay native.